I welcome everyone on another session of Nitish and Associate webinar series. Today, we have with us Mr. Nitish Mehra himself present on board with us. Mr. Nitish Mehra, advocate who has been practicing mainly in Delhi High Court and Supreme Court of India, has a leading lawyer in criminal side. He started his journey of practicing law in 2008 and then he remained an office law researcher in Delhi High Court. The most famous popular criminal matter he did was nationwide popular case of baby Falak, and he also remained part of association in Samjhauta blast case. He has also got his various case of civil and criminal matters reported in leading newspaper. So today's webinar is related to murder and culpable homicide. That is the difference between murder and culpable homicide not amounting to murder, which is the most confusing topic not among the students of law, but for lawyers as well. Therefore, we have Nitish Mehra sir to throw some light on the topic of difference between murder and culpable homicide not amounting to murder. You may start the session, sir.
Thank you so much, Kriti, for the wonderful introductory note which you gave to us. And it's always a pleasure to have you on my board as a moderator. Thank you, Kriti. So let us start with the journey of today's session on the topic, which has a very huge importance among the lawyers of the criminal side, the law students, and who are willing to learn about criminal practice. It's the most important sections which one should understand. It's a murder and culpable homicide not amounting to murder. For all of your benefit, I have prepared a PPT, a small PPT on the subject, which I would like to share amongst you. So all of you can see this PPT?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So yes, this is like a murder and somebody is having a knife in the hand, and though he was going to just making that person beware that he or she do not do the work, and incidentally that person got died. So it's a starting difference, crime scene. So ahead of that, let me go ahead of that. So what is culpable homicide? So the culpable homicide has been defined under section 299 of the Indian Penal Code as the act of causing death with the intention of causing death or causing such bodily injury as is likely to cause death, or with the knowledge that such act is likely to cause the death. So the first case which I would be referring is the Ali Hassan alias Ali versus State 2008, that is BL 063. Distinction between the murder and the culpable homicide not amounting to murder is a question of a degree of a probability that the death being caused, and it depends on the nature of how the offense is being committed. So now what is murder? Section 300 of the Indian Penal Code 1860 talks about murder. An act said to cause murder if, so I am directly relying on the case law so for the better understanding of the subject. Kesar Singh versus State of Haryana 2008 15 SCC 753. It is done with the intention of causing death. When an act which has been done with the intention of causing death, that clearly amounts to murder. The main essence of the first clause is that the intention to cause death to a person amount to murder, and the term intention has been interpreted conscious state in which mental faculties are roused into activity and summed up into action for the deliberate purpose to reach a desired objective. In another case, Rajwant and another versus State of Kerala, 1966 AIR SC 1874. It was said that if it an act done with the intention of causing such bodily injury as the offender knows is likely to cause the death of a person to whom the harm is caused, or another case is Lotka Bai versus Union of India. If the act is done with the intention of causing the bodily injury to any person, and the bodily injury intended to be inflicted is sufficient in the ordinary cause of nature to cause the death, then also it's said that it is a murder. Bhagat Singh versus Emperor, it's a long back judgment. If a person is committing the act, knows that it is so imminently dangerous that it must in all probability cause death or such bodily injury as is likely to cause the death, and commits such act without any excuse for incurring the risk of causing or injury as aforesaid. So, what is the scope of Section 302? Section 302 Indian Penal Codes provide the punishment for the murder. According to this section, whoever commits murder has to be punished with the death, life imprisonment, or the convict shall also be liable to the fine. Now, life imprisonment rule, death sentence is an exception which we follow in the cases of the murder. So, the case which was entailed for this is Raj Jagdish Paswan with the state of Maharashtra. In this case, the appellant was awarded with the death sentence of the trial court for committing the rape of 9-year-old kid. The High Court also awarded the same sentence. On appeal, the Supreme Court reduced the punishment since the death sentence can be awarded in the rarest scenarios. The Supreme Court held the life imprisonment is a rule, whereas the death sentence is an exception. The Supreme Court did not award the death penalty in this case for the various reasons. The reasons which were stated at that time when delivering this judgment by the Honorable Supreme Court of India was that the murder committed by the appellant was not a pre-planned, the person was not a continuous threat to the society, that there was no evidence by the state to prove that the person cannot be reformed or rehabilitated. The appellant was of very young age of only 22 years at that time when he committed the said offense. The basic principle is that the human life is very valuable and the death sentence has to be awarded only when it is mandatory and there is no other choice of punishment, and also in cases where the range of crime committed is very serious. So, what is culpable homicide not amounting to murder? However, there are certain exceptions to Section 300 of the Indian Penal Code, which tells about culpable homicide not amounting to murder. The first exception is culpable homicide is not murder if the offender, whilst deprived of the power of self-control by grave and sudden provocation, causes the death of the person who gave the provocation or causes the death of any person by mistake or accident. The above exception is subject to the following rules. Number one, that the provocation is not sought or voluntarily provoked by the offender as an excuse for killing or doing harm to any person. Number two, that the provocation is not given by anything done in obedience to the law or by a public certain in the lawful exercise of the powers of such public certain. Number three, that the provision is not given anything done in lawful exercise of the right of private. So the judgment of K.M. Nanavati versus the state of Maharashtra, the court observed that gestures and words under the certain situation cause sudden and grave provocation to an accused so as to bring his action under the exception. For the purpose of determining the sudden and grave provocation, a test is established to find whether any other reasonable man having the same capacity and belonging to the same class or sections of the society, if placed in the same situation as accused, would have also be provoked as to lose herself or control. The background of the previous act of victim is to be taken into consideration in determining whether the subsequent act was sufficient to cause a sudden and a grave provocation. The fatal blow on a person giving a sudden and grave provocation should be immediately when he was provoked, but not after the time which was sufficient for him to calm down or to cool down. So, by looking at this, we can definitely draw an analogy that if an act, has been done then and there only, when a certain provocation has been done by the other side, the immediate act of yours would definitely fall under this exception. But when you have got a time of 2 to 3 hours and you then plan to hit that person or because of that sudden provocation, then it would be a pre-planned mediated, so would not fall within the definition of this exception. Sulija Dhan versus the state of Assam. The fact that there was a fight between the husband and the wife. The husband was killed by the wife through the axe. The wife took the plea that the axe fell on his husband by mistake. What was the judgment followed from the court? The court held that the result was the outcome of the fight, and such fight gave a sudden and grave provocation to the wife. So she should be fall under this exception and not shall be punished for the murder. So the wife was liable for the culpable homicide not amounting to murder. So this would be seen as the most probable example for setting aside the charge of a murder on somebody. Then we have Mahmood versus the state. The court observed that there are certain ingredients required to fulfill in order to come under this section. They are as follows. The provocations must be sudden. The term sudden constitutes two elements. The provocations needs to be unexpected. It means that it should not be planned beforehand. The time gap between the provocation and homicide should be short. The provocation must be creative. A mere statement given by the accused that he was provoked will not be accepted in the court. The court needs to apply the objective test of determining whether there was a grave provocation or not, whether the reasonable man would do the same act if he would have been placed in the same situation as the offender. Losing self-control. Definitely, oneself losing the self-control would satisfy the provocation was sudden, grave, and the court will assume that he has lost his self-control. Definitely, that person would be given the benefit of this exception, which would escape him from the charges of the murder. Now, the exception 2. Exception 2 is culpable homicide will not be murder exercising the right of private defense if the accused can prove that he is free from fault in bringing about the encounter, that there is an impelling peril to the life or great bodily harm, either real or so apparent to give the honest belief of the existing necessity, that there is no safe or reasonable mode of escape by retreat, and there is a necessity for taking life. So, in that you can have certain things like there is a gun fired by someone and you just got escape then on, and then that guy again tried to shoot you in the between you to for the pistol and just shoot it back. So then in that case it would naturally be found that the act was done by you in order to save yourself, your life, and in that eventually the life of the other person has been taken by you. So therefore you would not be charged under the head of murder. Ranveer Singh and others versus State of Haryana, the court held that the burden of proving self-defense is on the accused. Such burden can be reduced by establishing a mere preponderance of probabilities, either by laying the basis for the plea in the cross-examination of the prosecution or by reducing defense evidence. So you have the choice. While during a trial, you have to formulate that what defense you want to take, and if your defense was of the self-defense, then naturally then you have to bring your defense during the cross-examination. And if yes, you have not bring it during the cross-examination, then you have to plot your defense evidence in that regard to prove that the act of yours was an act of private defense to save your life. So another judgment is Bhavar Singh and others versus State of Madhya Pradesh. It's a judgment of 16th May 2008. The court held that in order to take the benefit of this exception, it is necessary to prove that the accused has a right of self-defense against the accused, and this right extends to causing the death of the person. If this is proved, then it would result in the application of section 300 exception 2. The court may reject the plea on the ground that the right of private defense exists, more harm was caused than was necessary, or the right of private defense do not exceed causing the death of the person. So, then we have Daki Singh versus State, which is exception 3. Culpable homicide is not murder. The offender being a public servant or aiding a public servant acting for the advancement of public justice exceeds the power given to him by the law and causes death by doing an act which he in good faith believes to be lawful and necessary for the due discharge of his duty as a public servant, and without ill will towards the person whose death is caused. So in this, right now, the most popular example in front of all of you is the encounter of Vikas Dubey, the gangster, who was stated to be, as per the theory of the police, while he was taking away the service gun of one of the police personnel, and then he was trying to run away, and he fired the shots back. And in the event of firing the shots back, the police personnel, in order to avoid their lives and to save themselves, they returned back with the gunshots to him, and in that he got died. So, in those eventuality, the exception 3 of culpable homicide, not amounting to murder, definitely attracts. So, whether or not in that case it would attract or it would apply, the matter is in sub judice, so we don't have to say much more about that. But yes, an example with regard to the exception 3 would be the encounter of Vikas Dubey in present can be the best example. Another is the exception 4. Culpable homicide is not murder if it is committed without a premeditation in a sudden fight, in the heat of passion upon a sudden quarrel, and without offenders having taken undue advantage or acted in a cruel or unusual manner. In all these exceptions, the most important thing is that it should be the death of the person who has been hit, who has been shot, or who has been, as a result of the sudden quarrel, has suffered certain injuries, and due to those injuries, he has come to death. So the last is the Queen Empress of Nayamuddin and others. In section 5, culpable homicide is not murder when the person whose death is caused being above the age of 15 years suffers death or takes the risk of death with his full consent. The offense is a cognizable offense, notable offense, and it's triable by session. So here is a small punishment chart which we have made. So punishment for culpable homicide not amounting to murder. The culpable homicide is offense not amounting to murder if an act by which the death is caused is done with the intention of causing death, then naturally imprisonment for life, 10 years plus fine. If the act is done with the knowledge that is likely to cause death but without any intention to cause death, 10 years or fine or both. Okay. So in that I can give an example. Somebody who is like firing and some other person behind the bushes, and he does not know that there is other person behind the bushes. He thought that there is an animal, but suddenly that person dies. So then he has the knowledge that definitely that by his act of shooting somebody will die, but he does not have the intention to cause death of the person who has actually died. So with this, I would like to thank you in this small session of difference between culpable homicide not amounting to murder and murder. Recently, I have got one case which is very interesting. I would like to discuss with you all that the facts of the case are like where there is a sudden fight between the two brothers, and the two brothers were fighting on a piece of land, and there was a mother of them who was just standing 10 feet away from the place of incident. During that sudden quarrel and fight, one of the brothers hit the other brother with a brick, and during the hitting of the other brother with a brick, he has caused injury in his head. And while seeing the blood oozing out from the head of the other brother, the mother who was standing at the 10 feet distance, she got died. So the police registered a case under section 302 IPC, which was certainly should not have been done. In my opinion and in my view, the facts of the case, though reported to be said to be now have been made under section 304 IPC, I feel in this particular circumstance, neither 302 nor 304 IPC attracted, because there was a quarrel between the two brothers. The injury has been sustained by one of the brother. The mother who was standing at 10 feet distance does not have anything to do in between the two brothers. Two brothers do not have any intention for the death of the mother, but due to the sudden shock when the postmortem result came, the reason of the death was myocardia and infarctia. That is a result of sudden shock and a cause of heart failure. So in those circumstances, this would be no offense, neither a murder and not culpable homicide, not amounting to murder. So the brief differences which I have made you explain by way of the PPT today, I feel would naturally make you understand this difference of murder and culpable homicide not amounting to murder very clear with the help of the case laws. Thank you. Over to you, Kriti.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for enlightening on a topic which is very confusing, and being a law student, a time has when I was studying IPC, it was too much confusing to understand the core of these two sections, and through your lecture it is pretty much clear. So thank you so much for your all the efforts that you have put in, and to make it the simplest way to understand the culpable homicide and the murder, the difference between them. So thank you so much, sir, for explaining them the most this topic in such a clear and simple way. We look forward for a more insightful session, and thank you so much again for taking your valuable time, and thank you so much, sir. Have a great day ahead.
Thank you so much, Kriti, for the